Well, I guess it's time to talk about Absolute Batman #1. I feel like I'm a little late to the party on this one. So, Absolute Batman starts out with a man riding on a motorbike, and he is reminiscing about Gotham because he has been gone for several years, and he is actually on a job at the moment. We find out this man is named Alfred Pennyworth, and Alfred doesn't really like how much Gotham has changed over the years, and he says he feels like it's changed for the worse, to be exact. And we find out through Alfred's employers that he is sent to basically capture reconnaissance information on this gang called the Party Animals, which have basically sent crime up or deaths in the city up like 700% or something like that. And they've noted that a shadowy figure is also tailing the party animal. We transition from Alfred gathering his information for his mission to Croc's gym, which is a boxing gym that I forget what his actual name is, but Killer Croc runs. And we find out that Killer Croc is one of Bruce Wayne's best friends, along with Edward Nygma, Selina Kyle, and Oswald Cobblepot. Bruce is going a little too heavy on the heavy bag, and he ends up breaking it, and he's not able to pay for the repairs to get a new bag at the moment because Bruce has to wait for his next paycheck. As this is all going on, we actually end up finding out a little bit about Bruce's past. We find out that his mother was a social worker, his father was a teacher, I think specifically like an English teacher maybe, and they're at the zoo, and unfortunately, Bruce's dad ends up losing his life at the zoo because there was a shooting at the zoo for reasons we don't really know about. As we're starting to learn more and more about this world that we've dropped ourselves into, we find out that Black Mask is new to the city and he is in charge of the party animals, and that the Falcones I forget who the other crime family exactly is. They want Black Mask to basically pay respects to them and kind of work with them, it seems like, and whatnot. But that doesn't really go over too well. So we switch back to Alfred, and Alfred is gathering her surveillance information from the party animals because we find out that Jim Gordon is the mayor of Gotham City. He used to be a police officer, but now he's a mayor. And he's holding this town meeting, it seems like, to basically see what they can do with the party animals, because the party animals seem to be running roughshod on this city, making people afraid, killing women and children. They don't really care, it seems like, who they affect in this sense. And the party animals actually show up to take out everybody at this big meeting that they're having. And Batman shows up, and which perks the interest of Alfred. Batman basically brutally attacks all these party animals. Ooh boy, Batman goes to town on him, I have to say. He's like taking his ears off, using batarangs, spikes, stuff like that, throwing his cape and whatnot to impale people, even taking the crest off of his suit, the bat symbol off of his suit, and forming it into an axe, chopping a guy's hand off. Batman's pretty gnarly. Absolute Batman is pretty gnarly, I gotta say. But after all this happens, Batman gets away. He ends up getting into a scuffle with Alfred. And this is where things really get interesting and the story kind of shifts, because Alfred's kind of like our point of interest, our point of view character in this first issue. It's for most of it so far. And Alfred starts to get an interest in Bruce Wayne, Batman. He finds out everything about Bruce, basically about his mother being a social worker, his father dying. We find out that his family is not rich, and Bruce ends up basically getting an education. He's actually super smart, and he's actually invented some stuff when he was a kid to, I think, help with like bridges, if I remember correctly. But it's interesting to see how this Batman shapes his story, because he ends up working in different departments throughout the city, learning about the city, and then like kind of making little safe houses around the city, which Alfred ends up finding Batman at one of the safe houses, basically. So let me show you guys the internal artwork. Oh, by the way, there's your creative team right there. But let's get into this. The artwork is actually very, very well done. It kind of might sound weird, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the White Knight artwork, Batman White Knight, in a sense. Yeah, the artwork is very well done. I really liked. Like, I didn't know if I would really like beefy Batman because, you know, what's the only beefy Batman we ever seen, which was Dark Knight Returns. What was it? What? Yeah, Dark Knight Returns, I think it was. But like the reimagining of Alfred and stuff is super super cool, I have to say. But yeah, even the interpretation of Black Mask, which I gotta be honest, I didn't know that was Black Mask at first. I thought it was like a new supervillain. But I like it that we get like kind of glimpses of Batman in this. Like they, like even though like it kind of feel like the pacing is a little slow at first, when Batman starts to show up in this book, like things definitely get going. And the artwork very much shines when we get to the action pieces where Batman is jumping around, you know, flinging his cape around, all that kind of stuff. Like he looks like so freaking cool. Um, it's just a very, very well done book art wise, and I would have to say story wise too. You know, it definitely takes some interesting directions with the art where we get this like very much tonal shift when we go from like present day to like flashback, and how the colors slightly change and whatnot. But yeah, there's the artwork. I have to say, I was a little apprehensive to get into Absolute Batman. I really didn't know what to expect, necessarily when jumping into this, but I was pleasantly surprised, just like with all the other Absolute books. This depiction of Batman is sort of familiar, but so far off into left field that you can definitely have some fun with creating a new mythos for this Batman. I did feel like with the first issue, it for me personally, entertainment wise, it did seem to basically like a year one type of Batman almost. Like he's not as experienced as he should be. He seems to be a little bit more brutal in the way he takes down his opponents or the people he's fighting, which I do like. I was pleasantly surprised when he starts taking off knives and batarangs and stuff like that from his suit, and how he can I kind of like manipulate his cape to like kind of throw it and fling it at people, which was pretty cool to see. This Batman was very much seemed like a loner in a sense because he didn't want to like hang out with his friends because his friends were kind of doing kind of shady shit a little bit. But I do find it pretty interesting that we get his rogues gallery as his friend, or his former rogues gallery, because they're not his rogues gallery in this at the moment. Like I'm interested to see like where that goes in the long run, because are they gonna become possibly his Bat family? Are they gonna become the bad guys that we all know and love? You know, that's gonna be really interesting to see where that goes, and honestly his relationship with Alfred and where that goes, because he doesn't have any ties with Alfred at all in this. He didn't grow up with Alfred or anything like that. Will Alfred kind of be like his man in the chair, the guy who kind of helps him with his gadgets and helps him crime fight? Will Alfred become his Robin? Oh, that would be interesting. But no, this book was a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed it more towards the end when it started to build momentum and stuff. It left me with a lot of questions because this book has a lot to chew on. I feel like content wise, it was a pretty beefy book, and we go back and forth through the past and the present, and the different points of views for the different characters and whatnot. But I'm looking to see where this goes. I feel like the creative team definitely knocked it out of the park with this new, vastly different interpretation of Batman and where we're gonna go from here. Like, if anybody needed a fresh start, I have to say it was Batman. You know. But yeah, let me know your comments down below. What did you guys think of this book exactly? Did you love it? Did you hate it? like that one particular guy on the internet who really, really hated Absolute Batman for some reason. Let me know in the comments down below what were your thoughts about Absolute Batman. I've always picked up more of this. I just kind of hated that, I waited so long to get into this. But I'm going to talk to you, Mike. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace out. Stay safe. Go read some comic books.